What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Last week, as we already discussed, was one of the most important weeks for the stock market in this 2024. Mainly because the big tech companies were releasing their earnings report. We also talked about how overvalued these companies were and that they were due for a correction. And if the earnings reports they were producing were not perfect, they will most likely go down, bringing the entire markets and indices with them. And this is exactly what happened. We pretty much precisely predicted it, so if in case you missed it, here's a quick recap. Couple of weeks ago, one of the first devastating reports came from Tesla. The report itself was not so good. The delay of robotaxis, well, the company lost up to 12% in a single day. Another major, not that much of a good report came from Nvidia. People realized that artificial intelligence stocks might be a little bit overhyped. Well, this company lost as well, losing more than 16% in a single month. Another devastating report from a major company came from Amazon. The report itself not so good, below expectations. The CEO is selling the shares. As a result, the company lost almost 7% in a single day. Intel was a complete disaster. The report was bad. They're planning to fire up to 15% of the workforce. They're planning to suspend dividends which they were paying literally for several decades. As a result, the company lost 26%, a quarter of its valuation in a single day. Pretty much one of the only companies from this big tech which did okay, normal report was Apple, but well, once again the expectations were high and the market was already going down, so as a result Apple only gained mere 0.5%. You probably heard that Apple right now is betting heavily on artificial intelligence, even though it is not investing that much, maybe as investors expected them to invest, but once again, nevertheless, investors start to realize that AI might be a little bit overhyped and overbought, overvalued. So once again, whenever Apple said that we are also doing AI stuff, it did not produce any optimistic effect on the market participants. And just right here, for example, you can see how these big tech companies, how they close their positions on last Friday. Well, as you can see, every single one of them is a negative zone, except small gain by Apple. And just as absolutely expected, if these big tech companies go down, they bring the entire stock market with them, which is perfectly represented by this heat map. As you can see, pretty much it is all in red. Just in one single day, last Friday, the American stock market collectively lost $2.9 trillion. If we're talking about the specific indices, such as, for example, Nasdaq, since its peak during July 10, it already lost 10.06%, which is the official correction zone. And then the S&P 500, since also middle of July, lost approximately 5.6%, which is, yes, it's going there as well. And guys, we were talking about the very much possibility of all this happening literally for the last several weeks. So if you've been watching my videos, I mean, congratulations. It was obvious. I'm not saying I have a crystal ball, I'm not saying I'm an investing genius, but once again, the signs were right there. It was just way too obvious signs for me to miss them. I presented them to you. Hopefully some of you also saw these concerning signs. You maybe did some of decisions regarding your portfolios, because yes, eventually everything turned out to be precisely like we guys predicted. And this is also taking into consideration that the month of September historically is considered to be one of the worst months for the stock market. September is only next month, and if we are already going through a correction, at least in Nasdaq, well, we might be just at the very beginning of a big party. Not making any major predictions here, but let's see, who knows. But for now, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. This was interesting, informative for both, and see you tomorrow.